Hi, everyone. I'm hoping that this is going to be a good option for us for any videos that I do for you. I'm, as you can tell, setting this up on my YouTube channel. So this will be where you'll get all the videos coming forward, or going forward, I should say. I wanted to do a brief recap of what we about on the virtual class on Tuesday, because I know many of you could not make that. There were just a couple of things I highlighted with regard to what our plan is going forward. I did emphasize that if you're not overly familiar with using our class Blackboard page, you really need to make that your first priority. Start each week. This is, I don't know if it's necessarily atypical of regular online classes, but I am still using the week-to-week format. So you'll see that there are weekly deadlines. I'd rather not wait until the very last week of the semester to get all of your assignments to grade them. So there are due dates for each week. And those, of course, are subject to some flexibility. Let me know if you're working or if there's an internet problem or some reason that you need a little extra time. Just shoot me an email real quick. When you go to the weekly plans this coming week, well, the week that we're in right now is week 10. And so if you've not yet worked on your plan for the week, you'll need to check into weekly plan for week 10. In there, just as a reminder, you will find a what's the plan that gives you our objectives for the week, and then what the focus is. And then it will also give you a listing of due dates that are upcoming. So you'll want to check that out. The main piece of information that you'll want to check with every week is the weekly PowerPoint. It is in there that I'm going to relay any content that you need, as well as talk about the assignments, tell you where you can find information for the assignments. We'll be using the discussion board a lot. I will also be uploading some Google Docs that you'll use. And that's probably the main thing. As we get towards the end of the semester for your Let Me Tell You About the Book I've Been Reading assignment, we'll talk about videos and you doing that perhaps in a video format, since we won't be able to get together to do those. So make sure that you are checking the weekly plans. With regard to grading, you'll see that I have been playing catch up. Going to an online format has demanded that I switch up how we do things. So I've put grading sort of on the back burner. I do want to emphasize something that I said in class, and that is that grades are the grades, but nothing is etched in stone. So if I've left you a comment and you don't understand, or you have a question about your grade, please contact me, and do it in a timely fashion when you get the grade back or within a few days, rather than waiting till the end of the semester if you're concerned about your grade. Let's work through it sooner. I have, like I said, a mindset that is flexible, and there are times when I've misgraded, or if you share a point with me, we may change the grade. So make sure that you address that with me. I did post in the 3 different formats that I use weekly, the announcement, the email, and on What's the Plan, a link to a Google survey. If you can take a few minutes to fill that out, that gives me some insight into what your expectations are, what your understanding is, how we're doing things currently, and that would be really helpful for me. So if you can take a couple minutes, I think there's like 5 questions, so it shouldn't take you too long. As a result of some of the responses I've got on that, I have opened a discussion thread. You'll probably notice that if you go to the discussions, that is open entirely for questions. I check that several times a day. So if you need a quick response, that's probably going to be the best way to leave me a comment or a question, and then I can respond to that. So make sure that you check that out. The big assignment that is coming due, I think the syllabus says, or the assignments have been saying Sunday. I have no problem with you turning it in on Monday, but that is your first part of your literacy history. You'll want to review the guidelines and the rubric for that, for the full assignment, but also specifically for yours, your portion. There are questions that I'm looking for you to respond to. And remember, I don't want this to be a bulleted list. I would like you to write it in a narrative form, sort of telling me your literacy story. And so I'd like you to start from a brief description of what your home life was like. Did you have exposure to books? were you read to? Did you learn to read before you went to school? Whatever the case may be in your story. And then tell me about your emergent reading experience. Was it a simple task for you? Were you engaged by reading? Is it something that you enjoyed? Maybe something that you didn't, perhaps the teacher you didn't care for, or maybe you found out that you were dyslexic or had another reading concern. But whatever it is, share that with me. And then don't leave it there just in the early years. Tell me a little bit about your reading experience as you went through the grades. Was there a point where you stopped enjoying reading if you loved it when you were little? Did you have experiences in high school and into college where the demands on your literacy and what you were able to do were perhaps more strenuous than other times? So give me sort of a comprehensive view. I've had a couple of people ask how many pages this section needs to be. I'm a horrible one with saying with pages because I know some of you can write very succinctly and can say a lot in a few amount of words. And others are like me who tend to be verbose. And so it takes you a little bit more use of words to say completely what it is you want to say. But because this is a comprehensive literacy history, I'm looking for a minimum of 2 to 3 pages. Keep in mind that this assignment is going to be turned in double spaced, so I'm asking you for at least 1.5 to 2 pages single spaced. But you can certainly turn it in double spaced for me. That would be helpful. So that is due on Sunday, but we can, like I said, bump it to Monday if you need that extra time. You will upload it to a discussion board, not a discussion board, to the assignment Dropbox. And I will provide you some feedback that will be helpful for you to edit and then rework it as a portion of your final literacy history assignment. So that's the first part. You need to start thinking a little bit about who it is you're going to interview. Fortunately, we have the benefit of telephone and social media. So please make sure that you're deciding who it is that you're going to interview. Remember that there are specific requirements for the person. If you have any questions, you're wanting to select somebody maybe that's just a little outside the bounds of what we're hoping for, please contact me and I'd be happy to work with you on your selection. The other assignment that you should be well on your way to is the Let Me Tell You About the Book I've Been Reading. It looks like most of you are currently reading, at least you've named a book and how many pages, etc., in the discussion board. As we move ahead, probably if not this Tuesday, within the next week, I will certainly talk to you a little bit more specifically about the written part of that assignment, and then some options for how we're going to do your actual presentation, which is a 5 to 7 minute book talk. So you'll use your written portion sort of as a guideline to do your sharing with regard to that. But we'll talk about that further as we go. For this coming week, you do have other people's words that you should have gotten a copy of. I recognize that the bookstores closed probably before some of you were able to purchase that book. For your convenience, at least for this first week, I've scanned and uploaded the first 2 chapters, and so it'll be available for everyone. As always, I want to do whatever I can to assist you in your learning during this difficult time. I know it's strange. I know some of you don't particularly care for online classes. They're not my favorite either. But I want you to gain as much as you possibly can in spite of the circumstances in which we find ourselves. So please contact me with any of your questions, any of your concerns, and we will go from there. Please take care of yourselves. Practice social distancing. We certainly don't want this virus to spread any further, and we can take personal responsibility for that. I miss seeing your faces. Please take care.